The coffee shop was crowded that Tuesday morning, full of people trying to caffeinate their way through another workday. Lily Anderson stood in line, counting the crumpled bills in her hand for the third time. $6.40, enough for a small coffee and maybe, if she was lucky, a day-old muffin. At 26, Lily had learned to make every dollar stretch. She worked 2 jobs, one at a bookstore and another waitressing at night, just to cover rent on her tiny studio apartment in Brooklyn and send a little money home to her mom in Ohio. Her blonde hair was pulled back in a practical ponytail, and she wore worn jeans and a tan tank top under a brown cardigan that had seen better days. Her backpack, slung over one shoulder, held her lunch, a library book, and not much else. She was almost to the counter when someone rushed past her, nearly knocking her over. A man in an expensive suit typing furiously on his phone, completely oblivious. In his wake, something fell from his pocket and skittered across the floor. A wallet. Brown leather, the kind that looked soft and expensive. Lily bent down and picked it up before someone could step on it. "Excuse me," she called after the man, but he was already out the door, still absorbed in his phone. The barista gave her a sympathetic look. "Happens all the time. People are always in such a hurry." Lily looked down at the wallet in her hands. It was quality leather, worn smooth with use. She could see cash peeking out from the edges. A lot of cash. Her stomach twisted. $6.40 in her hand. A wallet full of money in the other. No one would know. The man hadn't even noticed it was missing. She could take enough for groceries this week, maybe catch up on the electric bill. Who would it really hurt? But even as the thought crossed her mind, Lily knew she couldn't do it. Her mother had raised her better than that. "Character is what you do when nobody's watching," her mom used to say. Lily had always believed that, even when being honest was harder than it should be. She opened the wallet carefully, looking for identification. A driver's license showed a man in his early 30s with dark brown hair swept back neatly, strong features, and serious eyes. The name read Christopher Hayes. The address was in Manhattan, one of those neighborhoods where apartments cost more per month than Lily made in a year. There were credit cards, what looked like several $100s in cash, and a business card tucked in one of the slots. Hayes Capital Management, it read. Christopher Hayes, CEO and founder. A CEO, of course. That explained the suit, the phone obsession, the complete lack of awareness of his surroundings. Lily sighed and put the wallet in her backpack. She'd have to return it after her shift at the bookstore. The address wasn't far from where she worked. By the time Lily's shift ended at 6, her feet ached and her stomach was growling. The day-old muffin had only gone so far. She pulled out the wallet and the business card, double-checking the address. It was a 15-minute walk, but that would save her subway fare. The building was exactly what she'd expected. All glass and steel and doormen in uniforms. Lily felt suddenly self-conscious in her worn clothes and scuffed sneakers. She approached the desk in the lobby where a security guard looked up with barely concealed skepticism. "Can I help you?" His tone suggested he doubted it. "I'm here to return something to Christopher Hayes. He dropped his wallet this morning." The guard's expression shifted to surprise. "Mr. Hayes?" "One moment." He picked up a phone, spoke quietly, then nodded. 23rd floor. Someone will meet you at the elevator." The elevator was the kind with mirrors on all sides, forcing Lily to confront just how out of place she looked. Her reflection showed a tired young woman with blonde hair coming loose from its ponytail, dark circles under her eyes despite the concealer she'd carefully applied that morning, and clothes that were clean but clearly inexpensive. The doors opened onto a reception area that looked like something from a magazine. Soft lighting, modern furniture, and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. A woman in an elegant dress approached her. "You have Mr. Hayes' wallet?" Lily pulled it from her backpack. "He dropped it at the coffee shop this morning. I wanted to return it." The woman took it, examining it carefully. "Please wait here." Lily stood awkwardly by the windows, watching the sunset over Manhattan. The city looked beautiful from up here, all golden light and shadow. From her apartment, she mostly saw the brick wall of the building next door. "Excuse me?" Lily turned to find a man standing behind her. Christopher Hayes, though he looked different from his driver's license photo. His dark brown hair was slightly disheveled, his tie loosened. He had the kind of face that would be handsome if it didn't look quite so tired. He was tall, maybe 6 feet, with the lean build of someone who probably had a personal trainer. "I'm Christopher Hayes." He held up the wallet. "I understand you returned this." "Yes, you dropped it at the coffee shop. I tried to catch you, but you'd already left." Christopher opened the wallet, checking the contents. Lily watched his face carefully, waiting for suspicion, for accusation. But instead, his expression shifted to something like wonder. "Everything's here," he said quietly. "The cash." "The cards, everything." "Of course it is." Lily felt a flicker of irritation. "I was returning it, not robbing you." "I'm sorry. That came out wrong." Christopher ran a hand through his hair. "It's just, there's over $800 in here. Most people would have at least taken some of it." "I'm not most people." "Clearly." He studied her face. "What's your name?" Lily Anderson." "Well, Lily Anderson, I owe you a debt of gratitude. Let me at least give you a reward. What's fair? $100? $200? Lily felt her face flush. "I don't want a reward. I just wanted to home." "Return your wallet. That's all." "Everyone wants something," Christopher said, but not unkindly, just matter-of-factly, like he was stating a universal truth. "Not everyone," Lily said quietly. "Some of us were raised to do the right thing because it's right, not because we get something out of it." Something shifted in Christopher's expression. He looked at her differently now, really seeing her for the first time. "That's refreshing, rare. Maybe you know the wrong people." A small smile tugged at his lips. "Maybe I do," he paused. "At least let me buy you dinner, as a thank you." "That's not necessary." "I know it's not necessary, but I'd like to. Please. There's a restaurant downstairs. Nothing fancy, just, let me say thank you properly." Lily hesitated. She should say no. She should go home to her studio apartment and the frozen dinner waiting in her tiny freezer. But something in Christopher's expression stopped her. Under the CEO exterior, he looked lonely, tired, human. "Okay," she heard herself say. "Just dinner. No reward money." "Just dinner," Christopher agreed. The restaurant was on the ground floor of the building, all dark wood and soft lighting. It was the kind of place where Lily couldn't even afford the appetizers, but Christopher ordered without looking at the menu and insisted she do the same. "Get whatever you want," he said. "Seriously, after the day I've had, buying someone dinner is the least stressful thing I've done." "Rough day?" Lily asked, scanning the menu and trying not to gasp at the prices. "You could say that." "Lost my wallet at some point, which contained the only physical copies of some important access codes. Spent most of the day in a panic thinking I'd left it in a taxi or dropped it in the street." He smiled ruefully. "Turns out I dropped it at my morning coffee run and was too busy staring at my phone to notice." "You were typing pretty intensely," Lily admitted. "Probably something that could have waited." Christopher leaned back in his chair. "That's the problem with running your own company. Everything feels urgent. You forget there's a world outside your phone." Their food arrived, and they ate in companionable silence for a few minutes. Then Christopher asked, "What do you do, Lily?" "When you're not rescuing lost wallets, I work at a bookstore in Brooklyn. And I waitress at night a few days a week." "2 jobs? Rent in New York isn't cheap. Even for a studio apartment the size of a closet." Christopher was quiet for a moment. "That must be exhausting." "It is, but it's temporary. I'm saving up." Lily hesitated, then decided to be honest. "I want to go back to school. I had to drop out of college when my dad got sick. Medical bills. I've been working ever since, trying to save enough for tuition and to help my mom." "What would you study?" "Education. I want to be a teacher. Elementary school, probably. I love kids. I love the idea of helping them discover books and learning and—" She trailed off, feeling suddenly self-conscious. "That probably sounds naive." "It sounds passionate," Christopher said. "That's rare. Most people I know work because they have to, not because they love it. Don't you love your work? Christopher considered the question. I did once, when I was starting out building something from nothing. Now it's mostly about numbers and investors and growth projections. I can't remember the last time I did something just because I wanted to. That's sad. It is, isn't it? Christopher smiled, but there was something wistful in it. You know what's strange? I've sat through probably 100 business dinners in the last year, schmoozing investors, closing deals, networking, and this is the first time in months I've actually enjoyed a meal. Lily felt warmth spread through her chest. Me too. They talked for 2 hours, long after the food was gone. Christopher told her about growing up in Connecticut, the pressure from his family to succeed, the loneliness of always being the youngest person in the room. Lily told him about small-town Ohio, about her dad who'd loved to read and passed that love to her, about the struggle of trying to make it in a city that seemed designed to break people like her. When they finally left the restaurant, the city was dark, full of lights and life. Christopher walked her to the subway station, insisting despite her protests. Can I see you again? He asked as they reached the entrance. Not as a thank you, just because I'd like to. Lily looked at him, this man in his expensive suit who probably had nothing in common with her. But there was something in his eyes, genuine and hopeful, that made her say yes. Okay, but somewhere normal next time. Somewhere I can actually afford to split the bill. Christopher laughed. Deal. Over the next 3 months, they met for coffee, for walks in Central Park, for dinners at hole-in-the-wall restaurants that Lily loved and Christopher had never known existed. He learned about her world, the way you had to budget every dollar, the creative ways to make cheap ingredients into meals, the exhaustion of working 2 jobs and still barely making it. She learned about his world, too. The pressure of managing other people's money, the loneliness at the top, the way success had cost him most of his friendships and any semblance of a normal life. Slowly, carefully, they fell in love. Christopher started leaving the office earlier. He stopped checking his phone during their time together. He met Lily after her shifts at the bookstore, walking her home through the Brooklyn streets, talking about everything and nothing. Lily found herself smiling more, laughing easier. For the first time in years, she felt like life was more than just surviving. But there were challenges. Christopher's friends and business associates looked at Lily like she was a curiosity, a phase. She overheard someone at a company party call her a charity case and had to excuse herself to cry in the bathroom. Christopher found her there. I'm so sorry. That was unforgivable. Do you want to leave? I don't belong in this world, Lily said. Look at me. I'm wearing a dress from Target while everyone else is in designer clothes. I don't know which fork to use. I can't talk about the Hamptons or ski trips to Aspen. I'm just not one of them. I don't want you to be one of them, Christopher said fiercely. Lily, you're the most real person I've ever met. You returned my wallet without taking a single dollar even though you needed it. You work 2 jobs and still find time to volunteer reading to kids at the library. You see the good in people. You make me want to be better. He took her hands. I don't care about my so-called friends. I care about you. 6 months after that first dinner, Christopher took Lily back to the restaurant where they'd eaten that night. Over dessert, he pulled out a small box. I know we haven't been together long, he said. I know we come from different worlds. But Lily, you changed my life. You reminded me what matters. You showed me that character and kindness are worth